The Joe Rogan Experience.
What gives you anxiety?
Well, this because I come and give updates on my mental health.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing great. This is what I want to talk about. So all the ayahuasca set a really nice, got me off antidepressants, got me believing in God, in a central creation force that's not a gender or whatever. It's just a thing. It's just a magnet, basically.
Say it's a woman.
Yeah, please. Wrong podcast.
God's trans.
Yeah. And then the DMT broke me and put me back together. And after the DMT, the 5-MeO that I smoked, it was a year and a half of, I thought it was 8 months of chaos. And then I did an ayahuasca ceremony a year and a half after I'd smoked the DMT. It was the first time back. And I felt the DMT door close. And I was like, it was open that whole fucking time?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so DMT opened up my brain too much, little too much. Open borders. I was experiencing too much of the universe. I believe like most of being a human being is just like this. We understand that we're a rock in space, but it's just like my fucking house and my apartment and my car and my fucking, the things that I understand, my family. The DMT made it so I could experience like time a lot more. I talked about it last time where I had a hard time watching the screensaver on Apple TV, the mountain ranges and shit. I got a sense, I understood how old they were in a way you're kind of not supposed to.
What do you mean?
When someone goes, hey, can you believe the Rocky Mountains are 700,000 years old? And you go, yeah, that's crazy, but nothing happens. I kind of understood how long a time that was. I was like way out. And then I slowly kind of came back. It took a year and a half.
And what was the negative aspects of being way out?
It was I told somebody I was aiming for God and I missed my stop. And I woke up on a moving train with no conductor and going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
So it was because you were taking in too much information that you hadn't considered before, so it became unmanageable?
The DMT, well, I had the Michael Pollan experience where the DMT took me to when I inhaled it, I went to before the Big Bang. And Michael Pollan said it on here because I looked it up. I was like, where have I heard? And I was like, that's where I was. And so I slowly... The issue was, so the DMT was pretty much a DMT 25-minute, 35-minute experience of like, I was before the Big Bang and my personality kind of came back and I was kind of going like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to be like petty. I'm going to be like a virtuous person. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to remember this God connection and all that stuff. And then a week later, I had a reactivation.
A week later?
Yeah. You know that thing of like, there's a thing which people have DMT reactivations where
like a flashback.
Yeah, basically what the joke of like an acid flashback. Mm-hmm. I had that and it's common with smoking DMT.
Yeah. And
I had one. So now it's a Sunday in New York. I'm on a coffee date with a woman in this side of my frame. This side is fucking pure whiteness, infinite time. It was harrowing.
So you saw it?
It wasn't like a pure split screen, but it was like energetically kind of a split screen.
Was it something that you thought and you felt in your mind, or was it something you were experiencing visually?
It was, yeah, I shouldn't say that it was, I couldn't see it, but it felt.
You felt it?
Yeah, I felt it.
And so
I would say that I was split between reality, current reality, and then this infinity, sort of energetically.
And was it giving you anxiety?
Yeah. Oh, I was so disoriented. I had the thought like, am I in God's imagination? Shit, that's not great. to think when you're
God's
just in on a Sunday walking around in New York.
Yeah, especially if you're on a date.
I mean, come on. And,
And you're just
trying to make something happen. Yeah.
See if this
and like
person's
pay
interested in
attention.
you.
My friend of mine said, she goes, "You just seem really preoccupied." It's like, yeah, I had a lot on my plate. Did you watch that Hemingway documentary on PBS?
No.
It's I recommend it highly.
Yeah.
Ken Burns, Hemingway.
Oh, wow.
Black and white pushes. And I'm not even a Hemingway fan. There were some passages that are like, okay, this is amazing. But there's a part they showed, maybe the Spanish Civil War. He went there. I think it's the Spanish Civil War. And there's a passage from one of his books where he got shot, I believe, and he explained it as like, my spirit came out of my body like a ribbon and then came back in. And I was watching with my friend. I go, "Hey, can we stop real quick?" Because I was like in that world. Like that day, this was the reactivation day. And I was like, yeah, I need to not watch this because I'm in that thing where my spirit can come back. And it was like touch and go. I think I may have said this last time. I would have killed myself, but I knew I'd be going into more of it.
Wow.
So it was like real difficult, like real, like on the edge of my
sanity.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know what pre-psychotic would be, like pre-diabetic. I feel like I was like, yeah, pretty close. Now, over time, I got better every day, and I got returned to norm. But I was more able to fall in love, more generous. I'm funnier on stage. I get 15% more and bigger laughs, like, because I'm spiritual, and people notice it. Like, hey, what's different about you? On stage is better. This Netflix thing is like my best one because it's just like I'm lighter. I'm just lighter. So that was hard to deal with, but after the year and a half passed, I'm a better. It's easier to be me. It's easier to deal with me. Everything's improved. So then, in the last year or so, every few months, I do MDMA. And like in a sort of, not necessarily a therapeutic environment, but like with a spiritual bent. What's happened from the ayahuasca and the DMT is when I've done mushrooms, it's ayahuasca. It's a God connection, or what I perceive as a God connection. When I do MDMA now, it's a God connection. And I've been able to, I believe I've been able to change my, I don't want to say spirit, but I think synapses, however you want to categorize it.
Your operating system.
Yeah. Basically it's like you are getting a new, you get an update, an OS update. And the thing with updates on computers is the computer goes to sleep. Sometimes you're awake for these updates. And you're like, I've literally done the joke on ayahuasca. Like, is there any other system you have? Because this is a little touch and go for me. I appreciate it, and I always get so much from it in the long term. But in the short term, I did ayahuasca, I don't know, in November. And there was a point where I went up to the shaman. I go, hey, I'm like a little close to God right now. Could you just give me like a nudge? Because it's very hard to comprehend, honestly.
Yeah. It's,
as someone who's sort of experimented in this world, like, it's, there are moments that are hard to comprehend. And it's a hard thing to communicate. Like,
it's interesting because I think overall you would say the benefit is worth it, but it's a slippery road.
Yeah, well, it's hard. It's very hard to do. And that's the thing, and we talked about this last time about sort of the mainstreaming of all this stuff. It's Pandora's box, man, because there's a lot of people, I'm whatever I am, intelligent person, an accomplished person, and I felt like I was pretty psychotic for a couple of days. And I would have killed myself if not. Like, that would have been a significant.
So you genuinely thought about killing yourself?
Well, I didn't have a plan or anything, but like, I was like, this is unbearable. No, it was like, this is unbearable. What I'm in right now. Where like, I'm on Earth, am I in God's? What is this? what is any of this?
Yeah.
What is steps? Walking down steps going, why is any of this? Why am I a person in a whatever? Got through it better. And then the MDMA, I've been able to sort of, I don't know if you want to do software updates or whatever, but it's just made me more. I had one that was really great, which was I did MDMA and I was able to, I'm kind of a grudge holder, Irish Catholic, etc. 1 of 10, you get it. And I was able to just forgive all of my grudges.